everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point. And we have the latest updates on the Taylor Williams case. For those who don't know, Taylor Williams is a 5-year-old girl from Jacksonville, Florida, who was reported missing last week, and the investigation has taken some little twists and turns. And so the police have announced today that Taylor's mom, Brianna Williams, is now a person of interest in her disappearance. And so it's come out that there are people coming forward talking to the police and saying that they haven't seen the little girl in a while. In one report a couple of days ago, in an update that I did, and I'll actually drop the links to the original video I did and the update that I did on this story. But people were basically saying that they haven't seen Taylor in about 6 months. Now it seems that Taylor may not have been seen in a longer period of time. The father lives in Alabama, and when he was contacted, he basically said that I haven't seen her in a while. And that was like basically all that he had to say. And I'm saying to myself, if you haven't seen your daughter in a while and reporters show up saying that your daughter is missing, I would expect you to either not talk to the reporters or to come up with some kind of empathy or sympathy for the fact that your child is missing, something other than I haven't seen her in a while, like she's your favorite t-shirt, or a t-shirt that somebody left at your house and they come over and say, hey, did you see my Alabama t-shirt? And you go like, oh no, I ain't seen it in a while, dog. You know, like, this is a child that you created. Show a little more emotion. But anyway, these people get on my nerves, if you can't tell. So today it came out that the search for Taylor Williams, the little girl who authorities issued an Amber Alert for last week, has now expanded to Alabama and Georgia. The girl's mother, Brianna Williams, is now considered a person of interest after deputies said she stopped cooperating in the search for her missing daughter. And according to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Brianna Williams was the last person to see Taylor alive. The mother stopped cooperating Wednesday after deputies spoke with her about some inconsistencies in her story. And it also came out last week that they brought the cadaver dogs out and they picked up a scent from her car. And so her car was impounded. And this was around the time that she stopped talking to police. And so police are now, or the sheriff's deputies are now asking for the public to keep an eye out for a 2017 Honda Accord with the Florida license tag Q as in Queen, N as in Nancy, B as in Betty, R as in Robert, and I can't tell if that's a number 1 or an I. If you've seen this vehicle between Jacksonville, Florida and Alabama, please contact Jacksonville Sheriff's Office at 904-630-0500. The vehicle is described as a black 2017 Honda Accord, and I just read the tag number. And they're asking people who have information about this case, like if you're on social media, to use the hashtag Find Taylor Williams. And then they go on to say that if you have seen Taylor Williams with her mother, Brianna, between Jacksonville, Florida and Alabama in the past 2 weeks, they also want you to contact them. You know, and then they go on to talk about the fact that the search has expanded from Florida to Alabama, and it says that a spokeswoman with the Jacksonville Fire Union said members of the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department's Urban Search and Rescue Team will travel Monday, which is today, to Demopolis, Alabama, to continue searching for Taylor Rose Williams. And this is where her family is from. So this is Brianna's hometown. Multiple sources said they will look in a 30 square mile grid in the rural area of Alabama where her mother, Brianna Williams, grew up. And so now I'm wondering if this new lead is actually going to take them to the father, which has me speculating if maybe the father and the mother, or the father did something to Brianna and the mother is, witnessed it and is covering it up. Or maybe the father knows what happened to his daughter and he was somehow involved. Like, we don't know if, domestic violence played a role or what's going on, but I just got a feeling that the father is going to turn out to be connected somehow. So the investigation into Taylor's disappearance began at 7:22 on November 6th at a home on Ivy Street where Brianna Williams told police she last saw her daughter in bed the night before, and hundreds of officers along with K-9 teams and mounted units searched the area extensively for 2 days, but they didn't come up with any information. And then a woman came forward last week and said that her and her fiance actually answered a Craigslist ad where Brianna Williams was looking to pay somebody $250 to help her move to a new neighborhood. And in that article, I don't think I put this in the video where I talk about that article, but I did come across some information where Brianna told, I can't remember if she told the sheriff's department or she told somebody else, that she wasn't moving because she wanted to. She was moving because she was forced to move. She had no options but to move. And so she didn't go into details as to what exactly that meant. But that raised concern with the sheriff's office. Like, well, what did she mean she had to move? Is she moving because she was being evicted for financial reasons? Is she moving because the house belonged to somebody else? Is she moving because she knows what happened to her daughter and she just can't bear to be in the house any longer? So, I mean, like, that statement could be taken so many different ways. Community members spent hours handing out flyers, knocking on doors, and combing through neighborhoods for any sign of the little girl, but so far the efforts haven't borne any fruits. Family members in Alabama told the media that Taylor's biological father hadn't seen his daughter in about 2 years. And in the first few days after the Amber Alert was issued for Taylor, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office said it received hundreds of tips from the community, but none of the tips so far had led to where Taylor is located. And then Sheriff, I believe his name is Mike Williams, went on to reiterate that, when the investigation started, she wasn't a suspect or a person of interest, but now her behavior is kind of leading them to think that maybe she is. Brianna Williams is actually in the military. She's a petty officer, first class in the Navy. And she's stationed at the NAS Naval Base in Jacksonville. A Navy spokesman said that Brianna Williams returned to work after spending time with police the day she reported Taylor missing. And so I'm thinking, if my child was missing, I'm not going back to work. But she actually returned to work like the next day. Biographical data obtained from the Navy shows that Brianna Williams has been on active duty since 2012 and was stationed at NAS Pensacola and Naval Station Norfolk between moving to Jacksonville in April 2018. We know she lived at Southside Villas, an apartment complex on Southside Boulevard near Bay Meadows Road, before moving to the home on Ivy Street in Brentwood last weekend. Brianna Williams received 9 awards for her naval service and was deployed overseas twice. She was also a valedictorian in high school. Her awards range from a Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal to a National Defense Service Medal. Her Brentwood neighbors have said that they did not see her daughter at home in the days before Brianna Williams reported Taylor missing. One person was quoted as saying, "My kids play out here often and they didn't see any child." It's really sad because it's close, too close for comfort. And this was one of her neighbors, Janae Singleton. a longtime colleague of Brianna Williams at the naval base, actually spoke to reporters, and he, wanted to remain anonymous. And he said that she's worked at NAS Jacksonville nearly a decade, but they worked together on the base for the last 2 years, where they're both first class officers in the Tactical Operations Center. And this person was quoted as saying she was really a kind-hearted person. She always had a smile on her face. That was her persona. Always willing to go out of her way to help others. That's who she was. And then, as I pointed out, so the little girl went missing on Wednesday. She spent the day talking to police officers, and then instead of joining the community, going out searching for her child, as I would think any reasonable parent would do, instead she got up and went back to work. And so the person who's giving this information said that he saw her on the base in uniform around 9 a.m. attending to some administrative work, and that she was sad, really sad, like someone who had cried their last tear. And he says that she always spoke fondly of her daughter. He never met or saw Taylor Williams in person, but he says that wasn't unusual at work. He recalled seeing Williams' picture and her daughter as a screensaver on her computer. And he says that he has no idea why she would have moved from the South Side to the Brentwood neighborhood, and that it came as a surprise to him, but said only she would know the reason. And I'm thinking that the reason he was surprised by the move was because it seems like the apartment complex she was in a much nicer neighborhood than the neighborhood that she moved to, or the house that she moved into. So that's another thing, that's kind of like causing the police to raise an eyebrow. And he says that Williams was originally from Montgomery, Alabama, and often spoke of work-related aspirations, but he says she seemed like a devoted mother, although he had never met the daughter and had only seen pictures at her desk. And so Sheriff Mike Williams confirmed on Thursday in a press conference that 5-year-old Taylor Williams was enrolled in a daycare on base for a period of time, but investigators can't pinpoint when she was last seen outside of what the mother has told them. Close family friend Nisha Sims says her sister is the godmother of Taylor and that they all grew up together in Alabama. And so she says that Williams was a loving mother who would do anything for her child, and describes Taylor as smart, well-behaved, joyful, and often quiet. And then she says she was a sweetheart. She would cling to anyone. My son was 5 at the time, and they played together very well. She was super shy, and she would never, ever get into trouble. And Sims says that they are heartbroken over Taylor's disappearance. She didn't want to elaborate on the family's feelings or knowledge of the current circumstances. So it sounds to me like Nisha Sims hadn't seen Taylor in a while either. So the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is saying that Taylor didn't walk out of her home on her own accord, and she could have been missing for weeks, if not months. And they're trying to piece together a timeline, which they say is more difficult now without the mother's cooperation. So they're asking for anyone with information to please call immediately. And they also said that they can't elaborate about the condition inside of Williams' home, but it's clear they will continue to stake it out overnight with patrol units as the investigation and the search for Taylor continues. And deputies are looking into a Craigslist ad that may have been posted by Brianna Williams the day before reporting her daughter missing. The poster of the ad states childcare needed tomorrow because they were, quote, bailed on us, saying that whoever was watching the child before is not going to watch the child anymore, and she's at a loss. She needs somebody to come immediately to watch her child, which is kind of scary because how are you looking for child care on Craigslist? Like, don't you need to vet these people, run a background check? Like, how could you do all that the day before you need this person to watch your child? And then why would she be putting an ad in the Craigslist if she had on-site daycare at the naval base. Like, this is why she is now a suspect. And so Brianna Williams' name is not anywhere on the Craigslist ad, but the poster mentions having a 5-year-old daughter working at NAS Jacksonville and living on the north side. And I'm sure they probably searched the your email information that goes out, that people can find out where you are and who your internet service belongs to. So I'm sure they looked into all that and it has traced back to her somehow. We're looking into all of that, trying to corroborate what Brianna Williams had told them. And then the sheriff's office added that they're vetting the now deleted post, but have no information on if it's tied to Williams' case at this time. And then they also went on to say that the reason, something like this ad would be important to the case because it sets up a scenario where the person is trying to throw investigators off. So if she had done something to Taylor, or Taylor had been missing for a while, why was she looking for daycare the day before? And so they say that they are skilled at detecting deception like that, and being able to locate this type of information. So a law expert said that you put in an ad for daycare so people immediately assume, well, you're not guilty or anything, but it's a red flag to law enforcement that's trained into finding this kind of stuff. And then he also added that that argues that the child was here. Why else would you put an ad in the paper for daycare if the child is no longer among the living? You wouldn't do that unless you're intending to deceive people. Then the Tiffany Nicole lady, she's the one that her and her fiance showed up to help her move. And, basically said that there was no little girl at the house when they helped her move, that there was water running in the bathroom, but the little girl never came out of the bathroom. And then I guess in transporting her stuff back and forth from the apartment to the house, the little girl never materialized. And so she said that she remembered talking with Williams about the move. She was like, this isn't something I really wanted to do. I just have to do it. And so this is the comment that I was talking about earlier that I had read somewhere. And so that came from Tiffany Nicole, who answered the ad to help move. So guys, what do you think about this case? Like, is the mom... I don't know. I'm kind of like looking at the dad suspicious now, and especially since they're saying they're going all the way to Alabama. Well, not all the way. It's not that far, but they're going back to her hometown. The dad lives in Alabama. He's being nonchalant about what's going on. Like, do you guys think that there's a connection, that he knows what happened to the daughter, and that the mom, I guess, is probably like in a state of shock or something, and trying to cover up for him? Or did she do something to the little girl? It seems like she's an overachiever, and she's probably more focused and concerned about her career and what it's going to look like, that she was the class valedictorian. She went into the military. She has this career going on with the military, has her daughter, and now all of a sudden everything is crashing down on her. And then to just get up and go to work the day after you report your 5-year-old missing, it just defies logic to me. And so what do you guys think? Do you think the mom did something to the little girl? Do you think that the dad was involved? How long do you think Taylor has been missing? It seems to me that they could contact the daycare at the naval base and ask them when the last time Taylor was there. And so that's probably where they're getting the 6-month number, because in one of the updates I did, they said they wanted people who had seen Taylor in the last 6 months to come forward. Now they're saying in the last 2 years. So, like, is the mother delusional or something? Like, she imagined, like, she's in denial that her daughter is no longer with us. And she's just at a point where, I don't know, like maybe she had to move from that house because the ghost was getting on her. Her conscience was starting to bother her. I mean, it's just, this is a very weird and bizarre story. So, I don't know what to say. God, I want to be hopeful that the little girl is alive, but if she is alive, who has her? Where is she? Like, who is, because I would think that the person would have, did she sell the little girl? Was the little girl kidnapped? Like, what in the world is going on with this? Let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Rate the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. I am just at a loss. I don't know what's going on.